to another episode of I Heard That podcast. Your host, Coach Clarence, and today I have a person in studio with me. You guys don't have to look at my mug for all this time. For those of you who stayed through the whole podcast, I have Boss Lady Tina Marie here. She's an entrepreneur who I met at an event, and it was about women who have been through some domestic violence, human trafficking, all those things. So I was very touched by her story and the fact that how she bounced back and what she's doing in the community. She's got like 1,000 jobs. You guys always give me stuff about having 80 jobs, but I think she got me beat. She's an entrepreneur. She started a nonprofit. She's a community advocate. She's a notary. She's a professional coach. And she does all this. She has 6 children. So she is doing the most, definitely. And she is the founder and CEO, which I love, of Help a Sister Out Incorporated and WHOSAID Association. So welcome to the show. Tina, let's go ahead and talk about it. We call her Boss Lady because she is truly a boss. What's going on? Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It is truly a pleasure and an honor. When you reached out, I was like, what's my little old story? Little old me.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for the platform. I truly appreciate it. You're doing amazing things too. I think we kind of, even.
Oh,
So
no, you got me beat. That's for sure. You're doing a lot. I've narrowed mine down to 3 things. You got like 12.
I tried to do the narrowing down, and once I did that, other businesses still kept pouring into the other ones. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna keep everything rolling.
hmm
As long as I'm going, they going. So that's how that is.
Why don't you take a brief second and share a little bit about your story, kind of what I witnessed and listened to, and then bring it to current day and how those scenarios molded who you are today.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the journey started way back as a little girl. I'm from North Carolina. So with that being said, I have my country roots. And the true journey of the story that you met me at happened in the teenage years, just being introduced to different lifestyles and many, many different types of people. And with that being said, it kind of landed me here in Phoenix, Arizona, into worse hands. So, with that being said, I led my life ended up going down a road of human trafficking, streets, drugs, alcohol, all types of things that really was not my alley. But again, it was introduced to me. So, when you're introduced to a lot of things, you're like, is this me? Da 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 da. And being in my late teens, early 20s, still trying to find myself, mother of two at this time. And yeah, that was when I realized, okay, there's many different lifestyles, many different ways to thrive out here, many different ways to do things, and I'm gonna have to find my way in this world, period. And that's really where Boss Lady was born. However, I wasn't named at that point, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay. So when I was born as the boss lady, it just empowered me to just overcome so many things, to get out of that lifestyle, to build a new lifestyle for myself. Because at that time, I'm a mother of two, so I had to not only get myself but get them out of it. And it was scary, but I made it through. Not too many people did, and I'm very proud of myself. And I'm very happy for just standing up and doing what I needed to do um, for the life I want to live. Now, I'm not knocking anybody's lifestyle, but I know what I want to do, and I know what I don't want to do. And at that moment, that's when I realized that this isn't what I want to do. So it brought me here today, and that's why it brings me into this bossy mindset. And once I was able to socialize in the Phoenix community and people knew of me before them days, um, you know, I didn't realize how inspiring I was. And people was just like, man, you a boss. You a boss. And so everyone else called me boss lady. And I really didn't get it stamped on me until a couple of years ago when I was like, I am a boss. Like, what? It's time to pat myself on the back because I am doing this. I have done this. I made it through. And it's just what it is. So, yeah, I accept that title, boss lady.
I love it. I love it. So,
Thank you.
how did those experiences parlay into you becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, let's just be real. It comes with criminal activity.
Mhm.
the criminal activity behind that. And a lot of people say, you're so strong, you're so strong. However, the process in becoming strong was not easy. And that was that process. I didn't want that for my life. I didn't want to have to go somewhere and get it and worry about a background check or criminal records. But because of the lifestyle that I live, those are the things that happen. So the process to becoming strong was that, just that. I had to forcefully find a way to eat, to feed myself and my family. And with that being said, you have to come to a point to say, hey, what can we do with these two hands, these 2 feet that you want to do and no one is forcing you to do? And that's where it comes from.
What was your first business? Was it an idea? Was it something you already had planned and you just said, all right, I'm going for this now? I got no excuses.
Well, my original talent was a hairstylist. So I've been doing hair since high school days, like literally at lunch, braiding people hair, getting me some bag of chips or some corn nuts or something, and, calling it a day. And then soon after that, after I had my son in my senior year, and then I had my daughter the next year, now it's like, oh, we need to eat. I'm still going to night school to finish up high school. So doing hair that was my first go-to. That was my first thing. And it actually brought me to Arizona, to be honest with you. My mother, she came here first. She ended up getting sick and wasn't able to do like her clients and whatnot. So I came out here to help and car problems. And now it's been 16 years.
Oh, 16
My
years.
car, yeah, my car stopped on me and it was a lot. My mom got sicker. So I'm like, look, I'm here now. Let's just go ahead and do it. So, we became a mobile hair business. We were in a shop, but a lot of our patients or a lot of our clients had medical conditions that didn't want to walk through, a barbershop full of men. So we then decided to go fully mobile and just go into people's homes, hospitals, nursing. So we did it a little bit different.
Okay. All right. So tell me about Help a Sister Out. What is the impetus beside that of Help a Sister?
Okay. So I'm excited to talk about that because it really birthed itself, to be honest with you. My journey is my journey, but I didn't do this alone. Spiritually, I had God, I had my ancestors, I had that spirit in me. However, it always, that saying, it takes for you to know someone. It's not what you know, it's who you know. There we go.
Sure.
And that's what happened. I ran into some good people along the way, good people that wanted to help us out and just wanted to see me for me and who I really was. And they just gave me that single chance. And the mutual friend that we share, France, he was that guy. He was that guy that gave me that opportunity. When I met France, I was facing 27 years to life in prison. And I needed to figure out how am I going to get my life together. He introduced me to an employer and it just took off from there. Once I got myself out, got into that employer, I stayed with that employer for 6 years. I won awards, got recognized by the state. I got, I graduated over 1,000 students and through GED program with the community colleges. Like I truly succeeded and excelled from there. And it just took for someone to help us out. And so with that being said, a lot of things along my way was introduced by people just helping assist out in a positive way. And I took it and ran with it. And so with that being said, I want to be that resource. I want to be that empowering and inspiring person and not realizing that I've been that person this whole time. Now it's like time to put a name on it, put a stamp on it, build that community, get me some t-shirts made. Let's really do what we got to do is help assist out. And it just looks like just being right there on her side and just providing that opportunity. So you never know how much you can thrive when that opportunity and that door is open.
Yeah. So tell me about WHOSAID. What's that all about?
Yeah, so WHOSAID is about, so WHOSAID is an acronym and it stands for Women Having Outstanding Support, Assisting in Dignity. So I started that first through my paint and sips. So my paint and sips are like, I'm not a painter, I'm not an artist. However, it's very soothing and relaxing. And I find it to be a great way to connect. And who doesn't like a good sip while we're painting? So I like to show people who I am, my personality, and that's an opportunity for me to introduce all of my other things that I do. So it opens up this networking opportunity for not only for me to talk about myself, but then other people talk about themselves. And then here we go, building this community of who said women can't have outstanding support, assisting in dignity. So from there, I've done met some wonderful women, designers, basketball coaches, executives, presidents, and just having a paint and sip and just vibing on a very relaxed level and just talking about what we love to do and what we do. So that's what I do with the Who Said. It's really, a networking hub to introduce everything that I do.
And your notary business is obviously self-explanatory, but who's a good client for you?
For the notary, a good client has been, this is a new business for me as well. The real estate and title companies, and like, it's just been booming. And I've been getting a number of different businesses and opportunities through the notary. And it's helping me understand the real estate process a little bit more. And then knowing that you're also, in that area as well, is just like, it's amazing how many people and things that I come in contact are connected. So it lets me know like I'm in the right place. Like I know who I can call for things. I know what to do. And with the notary business, I've made a lot of connections. Again, just talking and vibing with people. When they go to my website, they're like, "Wow, you do more than just notary." Absolutely. What can I help you with? And
Yeah.
then it just goes from there.
Okay. So I'm gonna switch for a second. You've survived some things that a lot of people haven't and can't pull themselves out of in certain circumstances. What would you say to someone who was watching this and they felt stuck? What would be your first advice to them to move in a different direction?
Find the light within themselves. Find something that makes them happy, a good memory, a good something. That's what helped me. Um, you're right. That is a hard journey and a hard life to kind of step out and pull yourself from because there's someone that's holding the strain. But once you realize that the chair has a chain to it, but the chain's not chained to anything.
Hmm.
Once you realize that you move and think differently. So once I got my little piece of freedom that I've always had, which is my mind, my strength, my inner peace, I tapped into that and boy, it became Ike and Tina. Ike and Tina. So
Oh
at
man.
the end of the day, it's fight, flight, and those things really do come in mind. But we don't want that to happen. We don't want those because it can end up deadly and it can end up other ways. And I've seen that. But ultimately, you have to find that inner strength and realize you're in a chair with a chain, but it's not chained down.
Hmm.
So what can you do?
That's that analogy of like the elephant or a horse, and they're big creatures, and then you see them tied to a little chair that all they have to do is turn their head, and the chair is coming with them. But they've been
Mhm.
trained for so long that they can't move from that chair. So it's a very powerful analogy. Um,
Oh,
you talk a lot about your faith. Tell me a little bit about how your faith drives you and have you ever questioned? Because I get this, because I talk to people about having faith and believing in something bigger than themselves, and then people say sometimes they get challenged by that because things get hard. When was a time that you had a challenge, like you said, I don't even know if this is real, and how did you push through that?
I'm gonna speak something recently because God is always working in my life. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe that there is a higher one, and this is bigger than us. We're just the vehicles to get to these purposes and these true meanings in life. There's a reason you do what you do, I do what I do, and everybody else do what they do because we're all going to different destinations. So recently, I took my kids to vacation in Palm Springs, and they never been to a beach. We went to a beach. Day one, now mind you, I planned this trip. I'll make it quick. I planned this trip 3 months ahead. Money, everything was good. I was ready. I did my thing. I believe in Dave Ramsey. I love him. And I was ready for this trip, right? Day, go get the rental day of or the day before. There's an issue with the rental. I choose to, go to a different place instead of sticking to my roots. Okay. I chose somewhere else and boom, there's an issue. I didn't let it bother me. However, it did cost me extra 500. So we get out there, money is tight. So I tell the kids, listen, we're just gonna do what we came to do, which is go to the beach. It's Mother's Day. I just want to go to the beach. Okay. Boom. Get out there. We get to the beach. We have very little money, mind you. So I'm going to the grocery store, preparing sandwiches, doing that. On the way there, I'm like, God, thank you so much just for getting us here. We got enough gas to get there and back. We're getting to the beach. We have food. I don't care if you just leave us with bread and water, Lord God. We are thankful to be at this beach. Fast forward, we get to the beach. We're loading all our stuff out. We're laying it out. The boys and my youngest daughter, they're walking over to the water. Me and my oldest daughter and the babies going to the bathroom to change. I felt like I did a great job. I laid out the blanket. I had our books out, the magazine, the our camera, the snacks, our drinks, everything. So we're coming back from the bathroom, right? I'm like, oh, look at those birds over there. They're so beautiful. They're just all in one group. Let's go get a picture. So we're running up to get a picture. It's our entire everything in their mouth all across the entire beach. Our shoes, they ripped up
Oh,
our
don't
shoes.
do that.
They ripped up. And I just, and I haven't been to the beach as an adult. So I didn't do my research on that one. But I'm like, we got a nice little setup area. I took a picture and everything. I kid you not. When the birds cleared, the only thing that was there was bread and water. The case of water was right there. The bread was not even touched, pecked, pooped on, nothing. I mean, they pooped on our books, our everything. They ate everything, our shoes, everything. And I kid you not, the
They
water and the bread was right there. I said, so I'm running up and I'm like, I'm yelling at people, don't you see this? Help me, help us out. So once, like for 2 seconds of me yelling, I stop and I'm like, I see the bread and water, and I instantly say, thank you, God. And I just stopped. I laughed. Once I started laughing, everybody's looking at me like, this lady's crazy. You were just cussing and yelling, and now you thanking Lord for bread and water. And I'm like, y'all just don't even know. That's all I told Lord. Just let us get to this beach safely. Let us enjoy ourselves. And I don't care if you leave us with bread and water. And that was funny. And I said, thank you, God. And that's how we have our relationship. That's how I speak to the Lord. And that's how I feel like He speaks to me. When I say something, He shows me. When I doubt Him, He shows me. When I praise Him, He shows me. And that's what gets me through. I know that I'm not alone. I know that I'm not. Just by things like that. And my kids was able to witness that because they was in the car like bread and water. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Bread and water. Okay, that's what it had in the Bible. So bread and water. And sure enough, when they saw me laughing, they were like, oh, the bread and water. So that was a great experience to have.
That's a powerful story because, man, I would have told you if you told me you was going. Obviously, you got to watch them birds, man. They're ruthless. They will steal your stuff. You can't leave nothing out there on the beach because they're scavengers. They're like they don't even see it as taking your stuff. They're like, hey, there's some food. She left. She's about to find out.
Yep,
And
they got to eat too. I didn't think about that.
yeah,
And we brought the bread for them.
and they left the bread. They like we bougie birds. We eat real
Okay.
food.
I said, okay, I wasn't even mad at that point. Every time they came up, I was just like, how was it? How were the cookies? How were the goldfish? Like, we buddies now. You family done walked up to the picnic like you know us. But that was a wonderful experience. It was a horrible trip as far as if you look from the outside in, the car, even the hotel, everything just was like, I planned this. But the most important part is that I asked God to just take us out. This is a new vacation place for us. So just get us there safely. I just need to spend time with them. I needed to get near water, to be cleansed, to be, and He did just that. Nothing extra needed to happen. And He showed me that. So I was very grateful for the trip overall. But yes, somebody looked at it, they're like, man, you had a horrible time. No, it was great. Even after they took all our food, it was wonderful.
Uh, so something that we had talked about previously off air. You were in an environment where you trusted people and they turned on you. How have you adapted? Like myself, I've been in scenarios and how I grew up and places I've been where it's very hard to trust people
Mm,
because you've been around people where it's almost like the analogy of a jungle. Everybody's a predator. You're either a
right.
predator or prey. So how have you, now that you've got your life going in such a positive direction, how do you look at people? I know you can never shake that side of you that wants you to go, "Ooh, I need to watch this person." How do you
Mm.
navigate in the world where sometimes people generally just want to connect with you and they want to work with you? Personal
Yeah,
and
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be so real with you. It's very hard. It's very hard. I'm a strong believer in not obviously being close to God and speaking with God. But I'm also a strong believer in mental health and speaking to a counselor, speaking to someone that's not in your circle. So that way you can just kind of figure out like, is it me? Is it the environment? Self-awareness, be mindful kind of thing. So that helped me through a lot, but still I have moments because certain people will do certain things and you'll look like, that looks and sounds familiar. I don't know, and that's tricky. Ultimately, I go to God and I just say, if this is for me, you'll show me. If it's not, you'll show me. And then I go with it. I try to trust myself. I try to trust what I'm feeling. I really believe that people need to pay attention to how they feel, how they think, the whispers, all of that. And just not hone too much in on it because people can go deep with it, but just really pay attention to those things because that's your body telling you something. Your body will reject what it doesn't need to be, and that's God speaking in many ways. So it's hard, even with dating wise. Like I said, people, I like a certain type, but then that type will do something, and I'm like, oh gosh, no, that doesn't feel right. I don't like that. I don't know about that one. So it's difficult. It is difficult.
Well, what's your type? Since you brought it up, what's that type and what do they do?
Oh man, you see, I don't like to tell people what's the type because sometimes people just they
Be
be
looking.
that type and not
Yeah,
be
but if you're
themselves.
faking something, you could. I don't care if
hmm
somebody hears what your type is and they're not. That's not who they are. You're gonna find out pretty quick.
It comes out very quickly because consistency is what matters. And that's the number one thing with me is being consistent. If you're a man of your word and you say something, hold that. No matter how little or how big it is, you said it. Okay. Because everything that I stand by, someone has held me to it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, okay, well, this is that lifestyle. This is what you do. You hold people to accountability, you're accountable, and that's that. So I mean, my type is someone I don't even want to answer this question, but my type is someone that is just financially responsible, emotionally responsible. They don't have to be rich. They just have to be responsible. Don't be a burden for me. Do your own thing. Um, Ambitious. They got to be able to read and write, not just text and post on social media. And just have a mental and a mind that expands beyond who they are. You have to understand that this is way bigger than you. So what are you doing in that sense? I'm not just a chill, basic, laid back. Like I'm always doing something. And I just like people to not only understand that, but also to have their own go. You know what I'm saying? And not be all of, we'll have our cuddle time, but it's a song I like that says, I don't got time to lay it with nobody. Okay. There's a time for that, but we got to get to things because it's a bigger purpose to it. So just somebody that's understanding them and they got to be handsome. I like someone taller than me. Obviously, I am 5'8", so you have to be taller than me for
Sorry,
sure.
guys, under 5'8". You already no shot. Let me ask you this, because I always talk to women. I hear that. And so, what if you met a guy who had all the attributes you described, and you haven't seen him yet, and he told you he said he's average height, which would be from 5'8", to be
Mhm.
for a man that's average, right? And you hadn't seen him, but he had all those qualities. You had been talking to him for a long time, and then you saw him, and he was like 5'6", but he had all those attributes. Was that a deal breaker for you?
The deal breaker is do not fake to be something that you're not, because
Well,
when
he
you
said
become
average. He didn't
exposed.
say. He didn't say. Remember, he didn't give you a number. And if you
Oh,
don't
okay, okay.
qualify the number, then he's not really
Oh,
lying.
okay, true, true, true. So if that's the case, then at that point, I would not knock that. I'm at a point in my life. I'm gonna say this before I say, okay? I'm at a point in my life where I want what I want. And when I say, do I want to settle for this or that? Like, I just want what I want. And if I can't get that, I don't want it. But I'm also a firm believer and have been living with it's just all about the energy and vibes. I have dated someone shorter than me. It was cool until it wasn't. And then I think
That
that was
man
just
that
like,
you called the short something.
no, no, not me. No, but yeah, it was cool until it wasn't. And but I wouldn't knock him against it. I would give it an opportunity. I would give it a try. I just would not wear heels. I still haven't became secure with myself enough to wear heels around people who are shorter than me or guys that I'm dating that are shorter. So that's a
Well,
process.
I think it's okay to, especially this, to set boundaries. And there's nothing wrong with saying this. I'm at this point in my life. This is what I want. You have to ask people, hey, are you tall? Are you short? Are you big? Are you small? Like,
Mhm.
because your personality only gonna carry so far. We're gonna be doing stuff. I gotta be comfortable how you look. There's not wrong.
Exactly.
People who get offended by that are trying to hide something.
Yeah,
Because
and it's like, don't do that. Don't. There's a
you're
there's
built. Now, if it's different, if you say, hey, listen, I'm working on myself, I'm in the gym, I'm trying to get better, and if you got that personality, that typically works out. It gives you a way to bond with somebody. But
that is true.
I get it. I get it. Okay.
That is true. And you're right. Like to piggyback off of that, people get insecure and they don't release a lot of information, and that's cool. That's fine. I just be telling people it's a pool. It's a party for everybody. Okay, and just you're not on my guest list right now.
I like that. I'm gonna use that. Listen, this is a party, and you're not on the guest list. If I say that, I'm gonna be the worst person in the world. But it sounds good coming out of you. I'll be like the bad person. So
Yeah, even if you do the smile, see, it works for me. Like you said, I'm a female. And it's okay. Just go to the next party. But they're gonna be like, oh, he is mean.
I'll get that. Yeah, I usually just don't even. I mean, you just have to tell people what you're up with, who you're dealing with, and a lot of times they'll shake themselves. You'll get the person who's ambitious who says, I'm gonna get her." She just wait till she figured out all the cool things I do, and that
Right?
just never works. So
Ah, it could with some people.
sometimes it does, sometimes, but you have to be willing to put the time in, and then with all the stuff you got going on, do you have the time to jump to those laps and figure it out? You know.
But that's the thing. I make time. If there's someone that catches my interest, I definitely make time. And and I'm not gonna lie, my last relationship, he really appreciated that. He's like, "Wow, I didn't realize how busy you are, but when we have time for ourselves, you make time for me." I'm like, "Yeah, because you're a part of that. But if you're not, then you're not." Like
You need to
that just
schedule that stuff, like anything, especially, I mean, I tell people you have to be very intentional in your day. You have to say, Friday, we need a date night. My kids are
Mhm.
gone this day with their father or their mother. That's what I got. And you have to stick to those things. And like you said, be consistent. Then the person appreciates it, you know?
Yeah, it's an
I think
overall
all
behavior
those things tie together. I think you're going to be more successful with a good partner versus just running everything by yourself, you know?
Oh, yes, yes. I've experienced that. I was in a marriage for 10 years, so I've experienced that partnership, and it was great. Everything is great till it's not. And I wish it would have extended longer and, more effort was put in on both ends. It's not just the one-sided thing. Um, so with that being said, I definitely know the benefits of partnership. So I'm still out here dating. I'm not seeking anything. It will find me how it finds me. It will be there for me ready. And until then, I'm cooking up some stuff. I'm doing my job. I'm doing my thing. But yeah, emotionally, I need people to be responsible and be okay with letdowns.
Do you feel like a lot of men are intimidated by you?
Yes, they are, especially when I go out too. I wear these shades, they my sucker
I'm going
shades.
there next. And I see some of the photos of you and your crew out. So listen, if I'm in the car while y'all going somewhere and I'm in a little bug on the window, what am I hearing while y'all driving to wherever y'all going?
It could be a number of things. I'm telling you. Let me see. We talk about a number of things from what we doing to the traffic. It just whatever the vibe is, the energy is, we go with it. It be some times where it's quiet in the car, and I'm just like, am I being too boring, or is it them? Like, what's going on? Or I'll be like, what everybody going through today? Like, we going out, like, yee. But it
You
just be
and
like
your
that
girls?
sometimes.
Is that a good support system for you, you and your girlfriends?
Yeah, they have to be a good support system for me, even when we have little arguments or disagreements. Because again, emotionally, being mature in your emotions matter, and you have to also deal with that with the girl group, with a friend group. Do we have little disagreements even as adults? Yeah, because we are still learning, we are still growing, and we're only mature in our ways, but we are still older and set in some ways. So that'd be like a little, but at the end of the day, when you find people that will ride for you to the extent of know what, and you're willing to do the same, you want to keep them around.
So something you said earlier really stuck with me because this was a breakthrough for me, and that was getting counseling. And in our community, black men don't. typically confide with people, they deal with stuff and it builds up and then they have a blowout, it's emotional and usually somebody gets hurt. Or worse, they hurt themselves or the people around them. So is the counseling you get, is that spirit based, like through the church, or do you actually go to someone who that's what they do, primarily as a business?
Yeah, I go to someone. I utilize the resources in my community. Getting out of that lifestyle, it opened up a lot of doors, like with caseworkers, right? State people, women organizations, other nonprofits. So I still hold on to those resources from 17 years ago. And I still reach out to those. The Women's Hope Center has been a great resource for my counseling, but I've dibbled and dabbled in a little bit of everything because I like to try a little bit of everything. Um, but yeah, I use my good old insurance and I use my good old resources and we make it happen.
So I noticed you are also in a legal protection or yeah, legal protection service. What is that all about?
Yeah, so my partnership with the legal protection, it allows communities, businesses, families to have legal protection for the things that they value and even for their life, like the trust and wills and things like that. So with that, it's a membership that not only provides the access to these attorneys and to legal information, but my favorite thing is the dashboard online, the online platform. And
Mhm.
that's really because it has all my contracts. They have templates of contracts. I could put together things. So, it's not just the attorney access, it's just the information that it provides you legally. And it just empowers you in a whole different way, in a whole different light. And, every good membership needs discounts and perks. So, of course, I utilize those as well. But yeah, just partnering with this legal company, it's been awesome because I've had to use them.
Okay.
So again, you can't be about something, you can't talk about it unless you're being about it. So
And of all the things you do, you're a head coach of a girls basketball coach at Highland Prep. Us old people always say, man, this generation is so different. What are the challenges you see these young women facing, and how do you, being a mentor in a leadership role with them, how do you address those things?
well, the number one thing, like I speak on, is empowering, being self-love, self-aware, and just starting with the self. So the number one thing for me is when I played basketball in high school, what stopped my career was my attitude, my
Mhm.
behavior. And so I noticed that that's one of the big things that I hear a lot of people say is girls, they're too this, they're that. They put too much attitude into the sport and it's not fun or it's not whatever the case may be. So with that attitude, that's really why I was doing coaching boys first, then I switched to co-ed, and then now it's strictly girls. And the reason being is because one thing that was irritating me is that they were already getting put down before the game even started. Referees or people expecting certain behaviors and stuff like that. So with that being said, I mean, the biggest challenge or the difference that I see today is the attitudes are even more like intensified. However, the attitude is still there, and that's just my experience. So my goal is to get in and change that and put the attitude into the ball in a different way.
I think sports is always a good character builder. It teaches you how to lose, teach you how to
Mhm.
win, and teach you how to strategize. I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of children, they don't have any kind of structure in their life. Maybe parents are working, maybe there's only one parent, they only see him so much. And so they're trying to navigate that plus all the crap that's going on in society. And it is a challenge. It is a challenge.
It really is. Boyfriend issues, they come to practice. I'm not doing this today. My boyfriend, listen, then we just go through a whole pep talk. Like the practice now, we're still dribbling the ball, but every dribble is going to
You're
have
like,
a motivation
you
talk to it.
piss me off.
Yes, it's like keep dribbling. And then once I let them vent, it's a little counseling session, and then I teach them. My biggest thing is being a pro. Becky Hammock of the Las Vegas Aces, the coach, oh, I love her. Her motto is be a pro. And you have to be proactive through the process to see your progress, to open up the probabilities to all the promises to yourself. And then you just rinse and repeat. And so I try to tell them that it starts with their self. At the end of practice, they like, man, bump him. I'm like, thank you. you got to come to one first. And when you realize that, other people will realize that and they will treat you different. And that's the same with the referees. My thing is, don't talk to the referees or you are out the game. And girls get that real quick. So it's all about
That's
changing
the
their
energy that
mindset.
you're putting out. So if you walk around a negative vibe or you're not even sure who you are, you're gonna attract that. It gets out
Exactly.
of nature because I always use the term predator because that's the only thing people can deal with. Like predators don't attack the strongest in the group. It's usually the weak, the older, the ones that's left behind, the ones not paying attention. And you can put off that kind of energy and you will attract certain type of, especially the male female dynamic. And there's people even not necessarily it's on purpose. That's the energy they might be attracted. Like, oh, she seems like she'll go for this, or she seems like she'll like this, and then you get that type of energy.
And
So
that's where the tests and the trials come. And then you choose here, do you go this way or you go that way? Like that's
sure.
what it's about.
hmm So we're halfway through the year. What do you want to get accomplished by the end of 2026?
Well, I want my nonprofit to be out and about. I want to have done by that time 6 workshops, 6 events,
So one a month.
getting at least, yeah, at least, 25 members into my movement and my mission and just, continuing to thrive and just be inspiring to others and continue to be inspired by others.
hmm All right. So I noticed you're hosting a free community empowerment event to officially introduce your Help a Sister Out Incorporated. Where is that going to be held? What can people expect?
Yeah, so you got to stay tuned. It's still in the making. The date is going to be July 31st. It's going to be either in Tempe or in Glendale, Arizona. And so the purpose, like I said, is not only to introduce Help Assist Out, but also to introduce workshops of local businesses that will be helping out. So I'll be doing financial workshops, mental health and awareness workshops. So I am looking for vendors. I am looking for business owners to be a part of that and set up a table. And I want it to be a big family event, a big community event. I want everyone to come out. There will be food trucks there to purchase food. I want to roll out my Bossy Closet, which is a thrift store for women. It's free to my members and to the
Let's
community.
talk about women.
Yes,
I'm
it's
feeling
free to
kind of
the
some kind of way. No, I'm teasing.
you should feel some type of way, but it's okay. I can lead you to the males who also have some resources for you. And that's the best part about it. I have a couple of friends who are doing the same thing I do, but for the men, and
Yeah.
another friend of mine is doing it for uh, male athletes in high school because just it's so many things happening with the males in high school, and I think he's such a great guy. But with that being said, Bossy Claus will be rolled out. I'm also looking for poets and singers because during the 6 o'clock hour, I would like to also introduce people who have talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's bring some entertainment and music and vibes to it. So it's going to be from 5 to 8, outdoor event, and just bring your family and come out and learn. So where they can find it at is going to be on my social media. So there will be flyers coming out now. We actually have a meeting next week to put it together, and yeah.
Well, you have to make sure you share with me so I can put it in our group and let people know, and we'll do a follow up for you. We'll do a little commercial run for you so you can get that out
Yay.
there. So, all right. Well, you mentioned social media. Where can people find you? What are all the socials, and how can they know you a little bit better and see how your life is if they want to follow you?
Yeah, you know what? Social media has been fun. I'm learning to just put everything as one name because I'm about to give y'all so many names. But my main is Instagram.
Mhm.
Instagram is going to be the WSA LLC. So the WSA LLC.
Okay.
Um, and then my Facebook is Tina Marie. And really, those are the two main platforms. I am on a lot of other ones, but once you go to those two main ones, you'll be able to link and kind
Direct.
of choose where you want to go. Yeah. But I'm growing on TikTok. My TikTok is at Who Said Bossy One. So that's been awesome. That's my little introduction with my Starbucks. You got to have a nick to get in there, and people like Starbucks, and that was awesome.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, spending a little time with us, boss lady. And I'll make sure I have all her info in the show notes so that if you guys want to follow, you want to ask questions. One quick thing before you go, if there's a woman who's watching this, what would be one thing she could do today to improve her situation if she's in a scenario that you came out of?
Like I said earlier, sis, look at that chair and notice the chain is not attached to anything. And once you find that inner peace and that self love, that's going to be your strength to make that first step forward.
Love it. All right. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boss lady, Tina Marie. She is an incredible human being, and I love her story. That's why I wanted to have her on. And
Thank you.
we will be updating as things go on, and as she, does things that apply, we'll let you know. All right, everybody, as always, take good care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.